Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa. Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa and internet world. How are you guys doing on this beautiful Tuesday? Beautiful Tuesday so far. Looks great outside right here in downtown Northport. Appreciate everybody jumping in and hanging out with us on a wonderful Tuesday. This is the Joe Gaither Show right here on BamaCentral, on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We're on Twitter. You can listen to us on Spotify, on Apple Music, and on Amazon, really anywhere where you get your podcasts. Just search up the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. We're bringing you all kinds of Alabama information, sports fun. Trying to hopefully keep it sports fun each and every day, weekdays, right here at 1 o'clock. Big thanks to everybody jumping in with us. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Joe Gaither6. Leave me your comments, your questions, your queries, and complaints. Jump in the comments section. I'll put your comment right up so everybody can see. Try to include everybody and anybody and everybody, unless there's some bad word, which we've only had once or twice in a comment. So that's all good. Look, I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We've had a lot of fun. Look, it's been a fun week and a half, and I'm trying to get right back in rhythm. I'm trying to get back into a rhythm, and it's really important to get into that rhythm as soon as possible because football season is right around the corner. Miss Julene, I see your Twitter. Hello to you as well. Look, football season right around the corner. Last week at SEC Media Days was a lot of fun. Was a lot of fun. Had a blast talking to J.C. Latham, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Dallas Turner. If you missed that episode, you can look at it on YouTube, on Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. It's listed right there in order last Wednesday. But yes, I've been a little discombobulated. I have been a little discombobulated since SEC Media Days. Just a touch. Look, we had Friday. Friday was a lot of fun out at Brookwood High School watching William Sanders commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide. That was a huge commitment for Alabama. A lot of fun for myself to be there on hand for William. What are we going to do today? This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I got like 4 topics on my list. And we are inching closer and closer and closer to college football season. What's good, Miss Julene? We're inching closer and closer to college football season, so we're about to be in rhythm. Nick Saban's press conference is going to be weekly press conference, Monday, Wednesday, and then, of course, the Thursday, hey, coach. So, look, we're about to be right there in football season. I think Alabama is going to open camp. Let's see. We're on July 25th. I think Alabama's going to open camp on August 3rd is my gut feeling. We're still looking for an official date, but I believe it's going to be August 3rd will be when that really gets up and rolling. If you're an NFL fan, you've got NFL camps opening on Thursday. Really, you got players reporting today. Players reporting to NFL camps today, and camps will open on Thursday. If you're really itching for football preseason, first football preseason action is going to be. Look, Bears are playing first preseason week in 3 weeks, just under 3 weeks, and then you've obviously got the Hall of Fame game that's going to go on probably second week of August. So we're right here, and we've got to find ourselves into a nice little rhythm for the football season. Yes, my man James. Let's start exactly right there. Let's start with Jim Harbaugh. I got 4 topics today. We're going to talk about Jim Harbaugh. We're going to talk about Alabama players in the NFL Top 100. 3 players already revealed. We're going to talk about the C.M. Newton Classic up here in Birmingham. Alabama getting an opponent revealed today for the C.M. Newton Classic. And we are going to talk about Saquon Barkley screwing over Josh Jacobs and the rest of the NFL running backs. But let's start with Jim Harbaugh. Let's start with football. Let's start with Jim Harbaugh. Look, okay, if you haven't seen the news, per Ross Dellinger, and now he is with Yahoo Sports. Sad to see him gone from Sports Illustrated, but Yahoo Sports picked up a superstar in Ross Dellinger. Ross Dellinger reporting today that the University of Michigan and the NCAA are working together with Jim Harbaugh. Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh and the NCAA are working towards a negotiated resolution that is expected to see him suspended for 4 games this season. for penalties stemming from alleged false statements that he originally made to investigators. So, look, here we go. Jim Harbaugh is upset. Jim Harbaugh cheated. Jim Harbaugh lied. And the NCAA is doing just a little slap on the wrist. Nothing at all. Oh my gosh. And this is what drives me absolutely bat bleep crazy about the NCAA. Really. It makes me, so last week, we spent, 2 weeks ago, we spent time on Tennessee, and we talked about all their violations, 18 level 1 violations, and they threw the book at Jeremy Pruitt. All right, can't really defend Jeremy Pruitt there. He violated 18 level 1 violations, over 200 violations at Tennessee. You can't really defend Jeremy Pruitt. I'm not really here to do that. But the NCAA throws the book at Jeremy Pruitt and lets Tennessee, the University of Tennessee, kind of off a little easy. Just obviously an $8 million fine. That's pretty expensive. But you've got the institution is protected. The institution of Tennessee is protected. And Jeremy Pruitt, obviously thrown out the door, 6-year show cause. He's probably not going to coach in college football until my children are in college, if that, ever. Jim Harbaugh on the other side. Jim Harbaugh goes, and lies to investigators initially. And what does he say when he comes back? What's his excuse for lying? This dude, come on. Look. I'm sorry. I was a 6-year-old child before, and I had a penchant for lying to my parents. I had a penchant for, trying to get around the truth, trying to put blame on other people. I'll be honest. I was a little bit of a troublemaking child, and lying was a part of that. We try to work that out of our system and be honest all the time now. But his excuse for lying? Oh, I didn't remember. What a terrible excuse. An awful excuse to give. I didn't remember. The coach said he merely forgot otherwise insignificant actions. All right, so this is from Ross Dellinger's report. Here's your paragraph. However, lying to to investigators is thought to be a more serious matter. A resolution between the NCAA and Harbaugh seemed distant a few months ago. During 2 meetings in January, the NCAA and Harbaugh held firm and refused to back down from their positions. The NCAA said the coach lied. The coach said he merely forgot otherwise insignificant actions, and thus an impasse resulted. All right, so now Harbaugh has come back and said, "Oh, you know what? I think this stuff happened. Let's work this out." And instead, the NCAA said, "Okay, well, we will work this out, and we're going to give you a 4-game suspension." Harbaugh's impending suspension is centered around an NCAA investigation into recruiting violations committed by he and Wolverine staff members. The NCAA enforcement staff alleged that Harbaugh was dishonest about recruiting violations in his initial meeting with investigators. A quick resolution broke down in January, and Harbaugh refused to admit that he lied to NCAA staff. The 59-year-old coach has maintained he didn't recall the events when first speaking with investigators, but he was never purposefully dishonest. All right. Let's all back up here because we've been around college sports for a hot minute. We love college sports, and we've seen the NCAA doing different things and enforcing penalties. And this blows my dadgum mind. When I'm in trouble with my parents, I don't get to say, "Mom and Dad, you know what I think is a fair punishment? 2 weeks. 2 weeks grounding, I think, is a fair punishment." Or, you know what I think is a fair punishment, Mom and Dad? I'll do the laundry in the house for a month. Or whatever the case may be. I'll clean the kitchen. You don't get to work out your own punishment. You don't get to work out your own punishment for one thing. That's like your first instance. And yes, Julian, if this happened in Alabama football, they would throw Nick Saban or anyone under the bus. And it's interesting. What's fascinating to me is, okay, you get a 4-game suspension for Jim Harbaugh. 4-game suspension, and let's look at these 4 games. Oh my gosh, he's going to be sitting on the sidelines while Michigan plays Eastern Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers. What a joke. You're going to sit on the sidelines while the creamiest part of the cupcake schedule is right there at right off the rip. And I'm sure that Harbaugh is going to be sitting in a box somewhere. And who's to say that he won't have any communication with the on-field staff, that he won't have any communication with the staff that's in the box? Well, this is an absolute joke. This is an absolute joke. So that's one hand. Harbaugh gets spared. Harbaugh is spared, but other staff members are punished. Former defensive coordinator Mike McDonald is now with John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens. Mike McDonald is receiving a 1-year show cause penalty. So the NCAA is basically saying there was wrongdoing here. 1, recruiting violations. 2, lying. And so we're coming back and we're punishing these coaches for recruiting violations. Mike McDonald receives 1-year show cause. 2 current Michigan assistants are expected to receive punishments. Offensive coordinator Sharon Moore and tight ends coach Grant Newsom. So look, you have the NCAA acknowledging wrongdoing. You have the NCAA saying that bad stuff happened or rules were broken. All right, so spin us back to 2008. When was Bruce Pearl? When was Bruce Pearl at Tennessee? Bruce Pearl was at Tennessee. My Wikipedia man says 05 to 11. Yes, 05 to 11. I was in the ballpark with 08. And why? Ask yourselves, remember, let's spin back. Why did Bruce Pearl leave the University of Tennessee? Tennessee didn't fire him. Well, they sort of did. They worked out because Bruce Pearl had a barbecue at his house and had recruits at his house for, an event, trying to suck them into Tennessee. Bruce Pearl, great recruiter, had the barbecue at his house and lied to investigators saying, oh, no, we didn't have a barbecue. We didn't have recruits at the house. And the investigation, the NCAA slapped his ass with a show cause penalty. All right, yada, yada, yada. Okay, let's see. Do I have? Yes, in the summer of 2008. Yes, that's all right. I'm right. Summer of 2008, Pearl invited high school junior Aaron Kraft to a family cookout in Knoxville. When the NCAA began to investigate the affair, Pearl not only lied about the cookout, but told Kraft's father to lie as well. Okay, so you go on and on and on. You go on and on through the story. Pearl was given a 3-year show cause penalty for lying to the NCAA, effective August of 2014. Means the sanctions imposed on Pearl would remain in force if he's hired by another school. And we all know what happened. He went 3 years out of he went 3 years out of the SEC, out of college basketball, and then he was hired by Auburn. And look, he's had his own success at Auburn, this, that, or the other. But the point is, Bruce Pearl lied to the NCAA. Bruce Pearl lied to the NCAA, and yes, okay, it's a little worse asking the recruit to lie for you as well. But come on, the NCAA, this is what makes me so dadgum frustrated with them, and why we cannot let them be in charge of NIL. You cannot let them be in charge of NIL for this exact reason, because they pick and choose who to punish, how bad to punish, what to do. Let's think about North Carolina basketball. Let's think about North Carolina basketball. Big brand North Carolina basketball was giving fake classes to their students. The antithesis of college athletics. Fake classes. But no, you cannot punish North Carolina basketball. You cannot slap them and really bring them down. What was that? 08 to 11, same period, same time frame as Bruce Pearl. You cannot take down North Carolina basketball because they are one of the big brands of the NCAA. They are carrying your water in the NCAA tournament, making lots of money. The NCAA tournament, the biggest money-making venture for the NCAA. So you can't punish your biggest brand. Everybody loves North Carolina basketball. Everybody loves, North Carolina basketball. So you can't get rid of Roy Williams. It's ridiculous. And so you pick and choose. And so, Tennessee football. 2 weeks ago, we can't punish Tennessee football because, hey, man, they just got back. And they just beat Bama. They did beat Bama. They beat Bama, and then they're now nationally relevant again. And we all know Tennessee football, whether you love them or hate them, it's a big brand. It's a huge brand. They're nationally relevant. Whenever Tennessee does well, they're nationally relevant. And so, look, we can argue caring about Tennessee or this, that, or the other, but eyeballs are on the Tennessee Vols football team. And the same concept, The same exact concept is being applied to Michigan right here. Michigan, oh, we cannot cripple one of our blue bloods. We can't cripple one of our big brands. Look, Michigan, you're going to be a top 5 team this year. You're going to be in the college football playoff conversation. You've been in the college football playoffs, the last 2 seasons? Obviously not gone well for you, losing to Georgia and losing to TCU, but you've been to the playoffs the last 2 years. You are a money-making brand. Big Blue Nation, maize and blue. Hail to the victors. Michigan. We can't punish Michigan. Look, if you punish Michigan, then what do? You cripple the Big Ten, and it's just Ohio State. And who cares about, watching Ohio State roll over the entire conference? You got to have Michigan there to foil Ohio State. You've got to have big brand Michigan to give you some sort of rival to your big brand Ohio State. And so what do? We slap show cause penalties on assistant coaches who are no longer there, who are in the NFL, and we are going to somewhat punish offensive coordinator and an assistant tight ends coach, and we're going to leave Jim Harbaugh A-okay, but he's going to sit out for 4 games. He ain't going to sit out for, Penn State matchup. He's not going to sit out for a Wisconsin matchup. He's not going to sit out for a matchup with Michigan State. He's not sitting out with a matchup with Ohio State. No. We'll let him sit out for 4 games at the beginning of the year with the creamiest part of the cream puff schedule. Eastern Carolina. I mean, okay, we all remember App State going into the big house and beating Michigan. So look, any given Saturday, they could fall. Same for Alabama, same for anyone. But come on, you're suspending the head coach for 4 games after lying to the NCAA. And look, NCAA, you have really made it a precedent over 10 years that lying to the NCAA is like a death sentence. You don't lie to the NCAA. You tell the truth. Look, Tennessee fans, you got Tennessee people basically touting, hey, we were honest with the NCAA. That's why Jeremy Pruitt got punished. And while we got kind of, as an institution, let off easy because we were honest with the NCAA. We outed all the bad coaches, all the coaches who were cheating. I'm sorry, I have a huge problem with this. Not really because I want Michigan to be punished. No, I don't really care about that, really. I want consistency. I don't really want North Carolina basketball to be punished. I want consistency. If you're giving fake classes and you're punishing one university, then you need to punish the other universities. And yes, I know that might come back and bite Alabama one day. Maybe. Hopefully not, but the consistency is what's maddening to me. You need to have the consistency, consistency for the sake of, competition. You can't look at the NCAA and say, oh, they're going to punish this. I mean, look, remember 1985, mid-'80s, you slap SMU with a death penalty because SMU, Johnny come lately, not a big brand. You can't have them challenge Texas. You can't have them challenge Texas A&M. You can't have them challenge Oklahoma. I'm sorry. This is where the NCAA becomes a criminal enterprise. And yes, James, you're exactly right. This is where the NCAA becomes, just messy. People talk about, oh, it's amateur athletics, the pure amateur athletics. We're sad that all these athletes are getting paid and the amateurism is going away. Look, the amateurism has never been there in my entire life. Now, look, it might have been there in your life, but I've been on this earth for right at 33 years. And so I would contend that the NCAA has been operating, in a nefarious business my entire life. The entirety of my life. And so, like, you've got, okay, you remember Nebraska, you get punished for a little bit for steroids. Like, golly, they just pick and choose. And it did help Alabama. Really, in 2006, it helped Alabama. 2007, and when Coach Saban and his textbook scandal got here. Look, but before Coach Saban, you think about the Albert Means situation. You think about the Albert Means situation in the early 2000s, 99 and 2000. Yes, the NCAA had to do something because literally Philip Fulmer turned you in, and you're kind of, are you fading? You haven't won a national championship since 1992. Obviously, you're still Alabama, but you're here with the mics and all, you've got the just mediocrity that Alabama was mitered in the early 2000s. And so the NCAA really was, easier to punish them. It's easier to punish teams who are not really carrying the brand, not really making you money. just drives me absolutely crazy. Look, I'm not trying to get Harbaugh in trouble. I don't really care about recruiting violations because recruiting violations are happening literally on every single campus. You're getting text messages in inappropriate times. You're getting phone calls in inappropriate times. You used to be getting $100 handshakes at Tennessee and still going to Georgia. You got Walter Nolan getting lots of marijuana at Tennessee and still going to Texas. I don't care about recruiting violations. I care about consistency. And the problem is the NCAA and people wanting the NCAA to take over NIL enforcement. You're just going to see more and more and more inconsistencies and picking and choosing who to punish, when to punish. And that gives fans ammunition. Look, I'm not going to lie. I'm 1 mile away from Bryant-Denny Stadium. It drives me nuts it drove me nuts 2 weeks ago when people were saying, oh, where did Jeremy Pruitt learn this? Where did Jeremy Pruitt learn all this stuff? Of course he was cheating at Alabama. I don't care about that, but it gives the picking and choosing, the selective punishment gives the ammunition to other fan bases. And so you say, oh, Alabama's been successful for 20 years. Of course they're cheating. I'm not going to sit here and say Alabama's been perfect, but you give these other fan bases tidbits of ammunition, and that's what drives me absolutely nuts because the NCAA is so inconsistently. They'll punish small brands. They'll punish small brands who they can get away with it, but the big brands, the big boys, the people who make the money. You get into a New Year's Six bowl game. You get to an NCAA tournament consistently. You compete in that NCAA tournament. Look, you'll never get punished, Kansas. You'll never get punished, North Carolina basketball. Who cares about the Adidas scandal, the Nike scandal, the fake classes? You'll never get punished because you guys carry the water for the NCAA tournament. Just drives me absolutely nuts. And so Jim Harbaugh today, congratulations. You got away with it. You got away with lying to the NCAA. Bruce Pearl would like a word. Bruce Pearl is probably sitting back there, and Bruce Pearl is probably getting the news today and kicking a dog, kicking a desk, kicking a something. There's a fat joke to be made somewhere around there. But just absolutely maddening. And 10 years after Bruce Pearl gets a 3-year show cause for lying to the NCAA, Jim Harbaugh's punishment is a 4-game suspension in the easiest part of the schedule. So good job, Michigan. You got away with it. You worked out your deal. I've never known legitimate punishments to come from working out plea deals. My parents never gave me a say in my punishment. The law, anytime you run into problems with the law, they never really give you that big of a say in your punishment. For Michigan to be able to work out their punishment, and even Tennessee a couple of weeks ago, over the last couple of months, it just shows you the dirty nature, the handshake deal, the backroom dealings that the NCAA really is all about. They want to protect their big brands, and they don't care about anybody else. So, whatever. We're going to move on. And Michigan, we'll see you in the college football playoff if you make it. Obviously, they are predicted to be in the top 5 this coming season, returning tons of starters. Our boy Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram picked Michigan to win the national championship. Yes, that's what he did a couple of days ago, about a week ago. Mark Ingram making Michigan his pick for the national championship. So, look, we'll see if that actually happens. All right, so we're going to move on to a next topic. We got 2 Bama-centric topics, and then I'm going to finish with Saquon Barkley and how it affects our boy Josh Jacobs. Let's go with Bama in the top 100 in the NFL top 100. All right, so if you guys are unfamiliar, the NFL puts out every year its annual list of top 100 players voted on by the players. So it's kind of a respect factor. It's kind of on one hand, I don't know if it's that big of a deal because you get, it's just the players' opinions. It's not really objective. But on the other hand, it does mean something to be respected by your peers. And so we've seen now 80 to 100, and then we've got the top the 10 players on the outside looking in. So basically, the NFL has released 80 to 110. Just the back end. Obviously, they're going to put it out. They're going to put it out 10 players at a time, 10 picks at a time. I think it's going to be daily over the next couple of days. So you'll get all the way down 100 to 1. Today was 80 to 90. 80 to 89, actually, was today. And so Alabama has 3 representatives in the top 100. Nobody from 100 to 110. Nobody on the outside looking in. But right now, you got three former Alabama players ranking in the top 100. And we're just going to hit them real quick and kind of talk about what I think it means and what we might see going forward. Look, number 100. Last slot, Mr. Devontae Smith, the Philadelphia Eagles, coming in at number 100. Massive respect for his second season in the NFL, really filling that number 2 role with the Philadelphia Eagles very, very well. You bring in A.J. Brown last season, draft day trade, and you bump Devontae Smith from the number 1 role to the number 2 role. And look, in college, his last year, he was an absolutely amazing number 1 receiver. But I think number 2 is really where he fits in the NFL. He can be absolutely dangerous and destroying number 2 cornerbacks. You put him against the number 1s, and maybe he's a little outmatched physically, just a touch, not detrimentally, but just a touch outmatched physically. You put him against the number 2, he can use all his tricks. Dude, his tool bag is deep. So Devontae Smith earning a lot of recognition by his peers, coming in at number 100. Number 92 is our next representative on the list, Mr. Marlon Humphrey. Look, Marlon, that's disrespectful. 92 is disrespectful. Is he one of the better corners in the league? Yes. Now, did I watch a ton of Baltimore Ravens over the last year? No, I'll be honest. I'm usually watching my hapless Chicago Bears and frustrated every single week, but that's just the life we live. Up on Saturdays, down on Sundays, even through the week. It's all good. But no, 92 for Marlon Humphrey is, I think, vastly too low. Now, he may have fallen off. I think he was in the 30s last year by the NFL, by the NFL players. Now, Marlon, great corner. Golly, he gives you everything you want from a corner. Now, you're missing the turnovers just a little. You want to have a little more turnovers. Obviously, Trayvon Diggs getting a lot of recognition for his interceptions. But what would you rather have? Would you rather have a corner giving up big plays, and then also securing interceptions? Or would you rather have a corner who locks things down and maybe doesn't get as many interceptions, but is also not getting burned, not getting beat deep, and not giving up a lot of touchdowns? I think that's what Marlon gives you. And if I were a general manager, which I'm not, if I were a general manager, I would want the more consistent player. Yes, you get the highlight reel interceptions for Trayvon Diggs. I'm sure he's going to be seen later in this list, probably in the 60s and the 50s, somewhere in that range. But I would much rather have a cornerback like Patrick Surtain, who's locking everything down. Surtain's going to be a top 20 player, top 15 player if I had it my way. No, I don't. I never got a vote. I'm not in the NFL. But Marlon Humphrey, 92, feels a little low, but you're at least in the mix. Marlon at 92. The next Alabama player, Mr. Tua Tagovailoa, say that 5 times fast. Tua Tagovailoa, the Hawaiian King, comes in at 82. Great. I think that's awesome. Honestly, I think that's really look, everybody who's been detracting on Tua, everybody who's, been the negative side on Tua, you've got an argument due to the health. Look, for 2 years I was in the camp. He's not injury prone. Come on, he's just bad luck. The hip injury is just a bad luck car accident. Starting to lean a little bit to my friends who say he's injury prone. But the fact that he comes in at number 82, I believe, shows the respect factor. I think shows the respect factor in the NFL. Tua Tagovailoa, the most accurate quarterback between the hash marks in the NFL last season. Now, missing time for concussions, missing time for head injuries, missing time 2 years ago for finger injury, missing time. He's obviously needs to either, get rid of the ball quicker, needs to adjust his game. Obviously, he took some time this past year learning judo. Maybe that will help him fall correctly or fall more effectively. Go to the Tom Brady school of falling. Tom Brady, I think, mastered kind of crumpling up him and Peyton Manning, studying that. Tua coming in at number 82, I think tells you a lot that the NFL players really respect his game, really respect what he can do, and really respect the way he can run an offense. Now, health aside, I think that you get him out there for 17 games, and the Dolphins are going to make some noise. Look, the AFC East is really interesting to me this season. Well, I'm usually not a big AFC East fan. Jets, Bills, who cares? But I don't want to watch the Patriots, and the Dolphins have been hapless for 20 bleeping years. I understand that. It's been boring. But this year, I think the AFC East is going to be a lot of fun with Rodgers, Tua, with Josh Allen, and then obviously, oh gosh, I just hit it. Now I'm missing one. Oh, Mac Jones, dumbass. I was thinking Tom Brady. No, Mac, you've got what will Mac Jones be? What will Mac Jones be with Bill O'Brien? So I think the AFC East is really, really intriguing. Lots of you're seeing clips. You're you're seeing clips. Hey, sometimes you have a brain fart, James. Sometimes you have a little brain fart in the middle of the show. We've gone 30 minutes straight without taking a single breath. So sometimes that happens. Look, people think that Bill O'Brien's going to unlock Mac Jones. I think the AFC East is going to be highly interesting. Will Aaron Rodgers, is he going to take them back to the Super Bowl? I'm seeing people today, go out here and say Garrett Wilson is the second most talented wide receiver that Aaron Rodgers has ever played with. Obviously, a nod to Devontae Adams, but will that be enough? Will that be enough for the Jets to take it? I think the AFC East is really interesting. So back to the main point. Tua Tagovailoa at 82 shows deep respect by his peers in the NFL. And I think that, if you stay healthy, come on, Tua, you can take the Dolphins into the playoffs. And yes, James, you're absolutely right. His coach, if y'all run the daggone football more, keep Tua upright, keep everything, down the field consistently and efficiently, I think the AFC East is really intriguing this year. All right, so look, that's what's been released on the NFL 100. You've gotten down to number 80. 3 Alabama players so far represented in the top 100. Guess these dopes were too young to have heard of Donald Driver and Craig Jennings. Yeah, well, Garrett Wilson, pretty talented. Garrett Wilson, I think he's going to end up having a great season. Might want to go pick him up in fantasy and all your redraft leagues. But our point here with the NFL 100 is Alabama already claims 3% of the top 100 players in the NFL. With what? It was 70 more picks. 80 more picks. Yeah, 80 more picks in the NFL. You're going to get Patrick Surtain. You're going to get Derrick Henry. Hopefully, will you get Eddie Jackson? I don't know. You're going to get a lot of other players you're going to get Josh Jacobs, last year's rushing leader. You're going to probably get Mac Jones. You're definitely getting Jalen Hurts. I don't know. Mac might fall out after his bad year last year. You're definitely getting Jalen Hurts. So there's 6. You're getting Quentin Williams, who just signed his massive deal. You're getting you're getting Jonathan Allen. You're probably getting Deron Payne, who also signed a massive deal. That's 9 other players. 9 plus 3. It's 12% of the NFL, right off the top of my list, of the NFL's top 100, right off the top of my head. And there's going to be many more. What will the percentage of top 100 players be for Alabama that have Alabama ties? Trayvon Diggs, there's another, and that puts me up to 14. Like, what will the percentage be of Alabama players in the NFL top 100? Will it get up to 20? Will you get up to 20% of the top of the league? I think that'll be absolutely absurd. And look, Nick Saban, everything is recruiting. Everything is used in recruiting. I know Georgia, the new standard, Georgia putting in 14 players in the NFL draft the last 2 seasons each. So yes, you got to give Kirby his credit, but Alabama still maintaining the standard and getting the recognition for putting top players in the NFL year in and year out. We would look forward to seeing what happens with the rest of the NFL top 100. Just a little personal note, a little quick note. Hey, big man, Justin Fields coming in at 86 for my quarterback, Justin Fields. Everybody talking about, he's just a running back. And we all know how Kirby poorly used him at Georgia. And then obviously we remember Justin losing to Alabama in the 2020 national championship. But you play for my Bears, you get the bump. And I love it coming in at number 86. Okay, so I got 2 more topics. We're going to keep it rolling. Thanks to everybody joining us on the comment section. My man James keeping me on track. Miss Julian also watching. Everybody hanging out on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. You can follow us at Joe Gaither 6 on all the social medias, or you can listen to us on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, or on Amazon. We love it right here at BamaCentral.com. First, take a quick pause. I want to thank Jarris McIntyre. Coach Jarris McIntyre joined me yesterday for about 15 minutes talking about his cornerback, Jameer Grimsley. Jameer Grimsley in the 2024 Alabama recruiting class. Really interesting conversation. I encourage you to go back and listen to it and figure out an interesting connection, an Auburn connection, making way for Alabama getting a new cornerback in the 2024 class. You can hear that episode on yesterday's program, all those outlets that I just mentioned. Big thanks to Coach Jarris McIntyre McIntyre joining us yesterday. All right, so Alabama news, an actual piece of real news dropping today. Alabama announcing an opponent for the CM Newton Classic up there in Birmingham. Birmingham, can you paint me a Birmingham? The CM Newton Classic up there in Birmingham. Alabama will compete in the third annual CM Newton Classic. Let's see, what was that date again? Mr. Austin Hannon? You can read about it on BamaCentral.com. Oh, is the date not right there at the top, Austin? What the heck? After playing the 2022, is our date not right there at the top? Well, I'll just have to do a little Google. CM Newton Classic 2023. We are playing Liberty, as I just said. December 30th. Boom. December 30th. Thank you very much. That's what I was looking for. December 30th for the CM Newton Classic, and Alabama's going to be playing Liberty. Look, Alabama 0-2 in the CM Newton Classic. Not good. My man Blake Byler reminding me, because I thought it was Liberty, I was confused. My man Blake Byler, follow him at Blake Byler on the Twitter machine for all of Alabama basketball information. Blake Byler reminding me that it was not Liberty that we originally scheduled in the first CM Newton Classic. It was Colorado State. And Colorado State either had a COVID issue or a travel issue. There was a late last-minute substitution, and Alabama ended up playing Davidson in that first CM Newton Classic. Losing to Davidson. No Steph Curry. 10 years after Steph Curry. Losing to Davidson. Not fun. Obviously, Davidson, who's their coach? Their coach, a long-standing great coach at Davidson. Coach Steph Curry still was there, I believe, with the Wildcats. You lost to Davidson. That stinks. That's a loss that you shouldn't have happened 2 seasons ago. You lost to Davidson, but then last year a little more not relaxed, but a little more understandable loss, losing to Gonzaga. You lost to Gonzaga last season, 100-90. Yeah, you lose to Davidson in 2021, and you lost to Gonzaga in 2022. Okay, you get a little more pass losing to Gonzaga, losing to Drew Timme. They obviously have a great program. 100-90 in last season's CM Newton Classic, and I was there. It was awesome to be there. The crowd was into it. It felt like an NBA style. I mean, not quite. It felt like if an NBA arena had a baby with Coleman Coliseum and filled it with Alabama supporters. That's kind of what it felt like in Legacy Arena up there at the BJCC. Very beautiful facility. And then obviously getting back up there last year for the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament. Lots of fun. I mean, the renovated BJCC is beautiful. So I encourage you guys to get up there December 30th. Alabama's taking on Liberty, the Flames. You're taking on the Flames. You've played Liberty twice in your school's history. Most recently, last year, you won right here in Tuscaloosa, 95-59. And then what, in 2018, is that Oates' first year or Avery's last year? Avery's last year, I believe is what it was. You beat Liberty in Huntsville, 84-75. So your opponent is set for the CM Newton Classic up there December 30th. You're taking on the Liberty Flames, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, it's technically a neutral site game, but come on, we got to pack it up. We got to pack it in, Alabama fans, and support the Crimson Tide. Look, Birmingham's done a great job supporting Alabama, and look, I think it's very cool that Nate Oates is taking Alabama on the road in the state of Alabama. He also played down there at South Alabama last season Mobile, South Alabama. I drove down there. Goodness gracious. And it was a lot of fun. So I love seeing Alabama basketball traveling throughout the state, trying to let everybody, Tuscaloosa is not always the easiest place to get to on a weeknight for a Tuesday night, Wednesday night SEC matchup. Allows more people to see the Alabama Crimson Tide. So we'll look forward to the schedule being more and more set as it's starting to take shape. Lots of great opponents going up to Canada to play Purdue, and going out to Arizona, and we're going to play the CM Newton Classic against Liberty up there in Birmingham on December 30th. All right, last topic for the day, and we're going to connect two things. We're going to connect Saquon Barkley to Josh Jacobs. All right, Saquon Barkley, if you did not see it or if you don't care because they're an Alabama football fan, say okay. Saquon Barkley, running back for the New York Giants, was part of the running backs who were disgruntled, he didn't sign a long-term contract. He was franchise tagged just like our man Josh Jacobs, and obviously upset about that, wanting a long-term deal, wanting a long-term security. Josh Jacobs, obviously, got close to having a long-term contract with the Raiders, never materialized, now in a holdout. And y'all heard me talk about the NFL running backs all banding together, jumping on Zoom, complaining about the state of the running back the state of the running back contracts in the NFL. What the heck are you doing, Saquon Barkley? I mean, you're a top 3, top 5 running back in the league. Sure. Yes. Great. Your franchise tag would have paid you $10 million. Would have paid you right at $10 million. And you wanted more security. You wanted one more money. You wanted 2 more years. You wanted your due respect. You've been the engine of that terrible New York Giants offense for the last 4 years. You go through the Ben McAdoo era. Now you're with Brian Daboll putting you in better positions to succeed, but utilizing you more. You want more money. We want more money. Everybody wants more money. And so the running backs gather together over the weekend and talk about what are we going to do? Are we going to hold in? Are we going to fake injuries? Are we going to make them respect us? And what the hell do you do, Saquon? I mean, I'm sorry. What do? You turn around and you sign a 1-year contract worth $11 million. So you didn't get any more security, and you got $1 extra million. You got a $2 million signing bonus. So, okay, you got $2 million right up front. But the total value of your contract only goes up by $1 million. You don't get extra years of security. And more importantly, more just mind-bogglingly, I guess if that's even a phrase or a word, Saquon's agent doesn't get any provision to not be franchise tagged again. I mean, come on. That should have been the first negotiating point. Hey, man, let's talk. I don't want to be franchise tagged next year. Let's get a 3-year contract, a 4-year contract. Let's get a 2-year contract, like something more than 1 year, but you can't franchise tag me again. Please, come on. Let's work in good faith. I played for the Giants. I played for you. Saquon, what you did is you let's put this in a nice way. What did he do? Okay, this is a really crude analogy. He whipped it out and urinated all over all the running backs. He said, "Oh, I hear you guys. I understand. We're all upset. We're all in this together. But I'm going to go sign a contract, getting me $1 extra million and getting me $2 million up front." I'm sorry, Saquon. Weren't we all in this together? So what's Josh Jacobs supposed to do? What is Josh Jacobs supposed to do? Josh Jacobs now in a holdout with the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, his franchise tag was worth right at that $10 million. Same as Saquon, same as Tony Pollard, all of the running backs on the franchise tag getting tagged at the same number. And so, yeah, Josh, you can play this year on a $10 million deal. Shoot, I will take $10 million. I'm not worth it. So, of course, I will take it. But Josh Jacobs, the leading running back in the NFL, last year's lead rusher in the NFL, you're worth the $10 million. You're worth extra years of security. Where will the Las Vegas Raiders be without you this year? Are you really going to lean on Jimmy Garoppolo? Are you really going to lean on Zeus Smith? Who's the Georgia running back? Zeus, the backup for the backup for the Raiders. Are you really not going to lean on, let's see, Raiders, our lads. I love ourlads.com. You're going to lean on running back Zamir White, Zeus White. That's who I was looking at. I knew it was a White. I knew it was a W last name. Zamir White. You're going to lean on Amir Abdullah as your running backs? No. I mean, I guess you are. But Josh Jacobs, Saquon, you screwed everybody over this morning. You screwed over the entire running back fraternity, if there's even such a thing. Obviously, there is a quarterback fraternity. Those guys work together. But Austin Eckler basically sucking everybody into a room with Derrick Henry. Like, what are you doing? You have stabbed everyone in the back with this contract deal. You didn't get your market value. I mean, I guess $11 million for one season is pretty close to market value. Let me see. Average annual value of running backs. I looked this up yesterday, day or so ago. Yeah, McCaffrey's coming in this year at $16 million. $16 million for McCaffrey. Alvin Kamara at 15. Derrick Henry at 12. Nick Chubb at 12. And Aaron Jones at 11.5. Saquon Barkley, you basically bumped up by $1 million, and you're still behind Aaron Jones. You're still, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're still the 6th highest paid running back in the league this season. You stabbed You stabbed all your guys in the back. I mean, yes, Tony Pollard was going to play on the franchise tag because Tony Pollard hasn't really proved himself. I mean, he's proved himself to be a nice secondary back, but now he gets the chance to be the lead dog. So, of course, he's going to play on the franchise tag. Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley, you guys have been dogs. You guys have been the engine. You guys have been workhorses for your teams. To sign a one-year deal, Saquon Barkley, only worth $11 million, is a total slap in the face to the running backs, to everybody who's working together, trying to change the narrative. And Saquon, I mean, I guess it's a dog-eat-dog world. You got to look out for number one first. And I mean, obviously, your value. Look at Le'Veon Bell. You miss a year, you miss 1 year, your value dips and your production dips. And obviously, I think you lose some skill as well. Le'Veon coming back with the Jets, never the same as he was with the Steelers. But goodness gracious, just absolutely disrespectful to the rest of your running back brethren. All right, so that's going to do it for our program today. We've had a fun 45 minutes. I appreciate everybody jumping in and joining us on the Facebook machine and in the comments, on Twitter, on YouTube. Everybody jumping in and joining us. You can find us at Joe Gaither 6 on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, really any of your social medias at Joe Gaither 6. So, send me your comments, questions, queries, and complaints. We love it so very much. We love BamaCentral putting us on each and every day. Follow our other BamaCentral podcasts. We've got All Things Bama with Katie Wyndham and Austin Hannon putting out episodes weekly. We've got Blue Collar Unplugged with Jacob Pickle, Matthew Gibson, and Blake Byler putting out episodes each and every week as well on Alabama basketball, Nate Oates and company. We love you so much. Yes, you can look back on my Twitter machine probably from Monday or Sunday and check out this year's Alabama basketball team jumping out the pool, looking ripped, looking ready for a new year. And so we appreciate all things Bama and Blue Collar Unplugged being a part of the BamaCentral Broadcasting Network. I'm Joe Gaither. This was another edition of the Joe Gaither Show. Big thanks to Chris Walsh. Follow him at Writing Walsh on the Twitter machine. Follow each and every one of us at BamaCentral. We'll keep it locked and loaded. Tomorrow might be a shorter program. I'm heading out to Chilton County. I'm heading to Clanton to watch DeMarcus Riddick commit. Will DeMarcus Riddick flip from his Georgia commitment to Alabama? Little news, just a little to get you out of here. At Georgia getting a commitment from number one outside linebacker in the country, Justin Williams from Texas, out there in Texas. Does that commitment signify DeMarcus Riddick flipping from Georgia to Alabama or Auburn? He's considering all three of those schools, and I'll be down in Clanton, down in Chilton County tomorrow to see him commit. So the program might be a little shorter tomorrow. He's committing at 4 p.m. So I'm gonna be down there getting our video, trying to get a little interview with DeMarcus Riddick, and trying to bring him on. Now, another quick note on the recruiting front. Two quick notes as we sign off. Jalen Mbakwe, top cornerback in the Alabama class, is switching from corner to wide receiver to quarterback. He's going to be playing quarterback for the Clay Chalkville this year, for the Choctaws, I believe is their mascot. He's going to play quarterback, delivering the football on the offensive side of the ball, and he's going to still play cornerback on the defensive side of the ball. That'll be really wild to watch. And then Sterling Dixon announcing yesterday that he's transferring out of Mobile Christian, trying to find a destination for Sterling Dixon, where he's going to be transferring to. I believe he's transferring out of Mobile Christian so that he can graduate early and enroll early here in Tuscaloosa, looking for a public school who will work with him academically to make sure that he's graduating in December so he can enroll early in Tuscaloosa. Those two things are hitting up our recruiting front, and we will keep an eye on DeMarcus Riddick tomorrow. So that's going to do it for our program today. Follow me at Joe Gaither 6. I am Joe Gaither. You are the listener. I appreciate you guys so much. Watch us on YouTube. Watch us on Facebook, on Twitter. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on Amazon. For you, the listener, for me, Joe Gaither, it was another edition of the Joe Gaither Show right here on BamaCentral and BamaCentral.com.